Orchids are absolutely romantic. They are the most romantic flower on earth.
The shape of the flower seemed to have a fascination for human beings that, in some ways is certainly as passionate as sexual fascination.
Orchids are kind of an argument for the existence of God in that they are so beautiful, but they are also an argument for the existence of sin because they tend to tempt people into doing things that they probably shouldn't do.
One of the peculiarities of orchid hunting is that unlike the crocodile hunter, these orchids just sit there on a cliff and stare at you. They don't jump at you. They don't do anything dangerous. The problem is when you go from here to there to get them, all kinds of crap happens. The first day we were there in the Gulf of Siam on our first trip, as we're setting up our tent, a storm came up, and that night we had an enormous typhoon went through the area. Another time I'm in another fishing boat on the other side of the Gulf of Siam, going around islands looking for limestone cliffs that have orchids on them. And all of a sudden the skipper is yelling loudly, "Pirates! Duck!" And in one market in the Philippines, somebody reaches for my shoulder bag, but before he did, I hauled off and hit him right in the side of the head and knocked him unconscious. Another time I'm in Sulawesi on another island, and all of a sudden I look over the side of the cliff and here's some blooming Paphiopedilums right at my feet, well, a little lower, and I grabbed a hold of this root and I reach out over the cliff face to try and collect them, and I can't. And all of a sudden the root broke. A few years later, I'm in the Philippines down in Palawan Island, and I fall off another cliff doing the same stupid thing, you know? I was out in my greenhouse one day. My wife, she came in and complained that I never spend any time with her. She said that you come home and the first thing you do is go out on your greenhouse and you don't spend it with me. And I thought, you know, she's right. I don't. And my orchids in the greenhouse connected me in a way that I never was connected to anything else before. I really started in 1964 being serious about collecting orchids. Before that time, there were very few books on orchids, and they were all old. You had to go to the jungle to find out the realities of what is it really like in the jungle, because the old books had it all wrong. I really have no idea how many new orchids species I've discovered. Probably in the neighborhood of 2 or 3 dozen, but that wasn't my interest. My interest was the search for new species and the thrill of the chase and the thrill of going on adventure. But the overall discovery of the old ways where you could do your own search, that just doesn't exist anymore. And to me, that was the most rewarding thing that came from going out in the jungle to discover new orchids. I'm just so sad that I can't do that anymore.